Welcome and hello, everybody. This is GCTV. My name is Mark Lewis, and what a contrast to what we've seen in the weather from the Global Champions League day of yesterday. The warm, scorching, sunny skies of Riesenbeck in Germany to what has been a utter downpour. Over 35 millimeters of rain expected over the day, and it has certainly changed conditions. It's no cooler, by the way. It is still muggy, and it is very, very humid today, but there has been loads of rainfall. I'm very interested to talk to Dan Strange on the ground to just find out if any of the riders have any thoughts on what the surface or the conditions may be like. This is the 11th stage of the Longines Global Champions Tour. We welcome you to Germany for the only stage, by the way, here in Riesenbeck. Championship leader Max Kuhne cannot be caught, regardless of what happens today. But there can be some significant movement for Michael van der Vleuten and for Christian Kuckuck based on certain outcomes, based on certain consequences. Those we will find out a little bit later on. On the show today, there is a lot to talk about, a lot to try and unpack, but let's start with the location. The only circuit here in Germany at the Riesenbeck International Club, a hub for equestrian sport. A hub for equestrian sport. We sent Dan Strange out to go and sit down with Ludger Beerbaum, go take a walk with Ludger Beerbaum and find out more about the sensational venue.
Ludger Beerbaum needs very little introduction as one of the most respected and notable riders of all time. And for this weekend's LGCT Grand Prix, he's also, of course, the venue host. So to find out more about Riesenbeck International, we thought we'd come along to the man himself.
Moving to Riesenbeck in 1995, we started to have our own little stable with around 20-25 horses, 3 people working, actually from 3 different nations also. Which is not common here in the, a bit on the countryside, Germany. After almost 30 years, things have developed, the stable expanded and got bigger. At some point, we were up to almost 100 horses and around 40 people working there. Then there was a friend of me actually offering this possibility here. He owns the land, he owns the venue, he lives nearby in the castle. And so that's actually how it all started. We started with a venue, we started to put an indoor, and we always kept the grass arena because even though we were not competing on 5-star level, but national and small international shows we've done already 10 years ago. So things went step by step, and today now we are here. And if I'm very honest with you, I'm a little bit proud of what the whole team has developed. It's about horses and people loving horse, passion to horses, breeders. Horse people are coming to join, to compete, to just watch and follow the events. And that makes it, I think, a little bit unique in the whole circle, which is fine. I think we need variety there. Probably it would be boring to just stay here all year long. But once a year to have an event in this environment, I think is quite charming.
Let's look and talk about the arena.
It's a big ring, yes, 1.3 hectare, which is 13,000 square meters, but it's a grass arena, it's a big field. Of course, the courses are a bit longer, there's probably a few more jumps. There's the grass matter, which then you need to, when you go fast and turn, you have to make sure you have the right studs and the right setup. So horses and riders with a bit more experience probably have a little bit of an advantage here. But in general, it's, I don't think, a specific challenge for the riders. There's a big team behind me and they're really in charge. I mean, I talk and I do a bit of PR stuff, but the really work, content of all what matters here, it's not really done by me, So thanks to the whole team and everyone supporting us here, we are where we are.
What a wonderful privilege it is, not just for Dan Strange to spend some time with Ludger Beerbaum, but for us to be able to give a private tour, an escort around this wonderful facility to learn more about Riesenbeck International and find out just how it's evolved over all these years from the mid-1990s to where we find ourselves today in 2024 for stage 11 of the Longines Global Champions Tour, now ready for a Grand Prix of Riesenbeck. As you can see, there is plenty of action happening inside the ring for you. We'll get to that in a moment. Before we get into Riesenbeck and get firmly stuck in to our German stage here today, let's take you back just a couple of weeks and remind you as to what took place in Monaco, the richest LGCT Grand Prix of the season, and dare I say, one of the biggest surprise winners of the season thus far. Let's remind you as to what took place there in Monaco.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a special night in Monte Carlo, Monaco. Welcome to the Grand Prix that is worth 1.5 million euro.
Come on, Nina Malfait. Is there another young French going to come through into the jump-off? Ines Joly was first, and now Malfait does it. It's her first clear in the Longines Global Champions Tour Grand Prix. Nina Malfait and Dynastie de Beaufour are too slow for the clock. 400th of a second. Oh, goodness gracious.
Start list, ladies and gentlemen. Well, there's not much I can tell you, can I?
Ines Joly and Max Kühner, only two in the jump-off.
If she jumps a clear, she's putting pressure on Kühner, no matter how fast or slow she would be. Kühner still has to jump a clear. Last chance coming up, Ines Joly, 4 double clear in Monte Carlo, Monaco. It's bingo in any case. There's the ambassador. There's Ines Joly. It's 42.32. Now come get it, Max Kühner. The crucial one for Kühner. You know what it means if a rail would fall, but it's not going to fall. Here comes Kühner on his favorite hunting ground. No, it's gone! It's the win for Ines Joly. Ines Joly has won the Grand Prix of Monte Carlo.
Out of this world, to be honest. It's crazy, and I'm so happy. It's unbelievable. I never imagined. It's true happiness. Like, I did it all these years with my parents, working hard, now with my coach and everything. No, crazy.
Even now, weeks later, I wish the cameras could show it. There was massive goosebumps down my neck looking back at that moment for Ines Joly and what it meant for her and what an evening that was in Monaco. And now, despite Max Kühner going on to not win the Grand Prix, finishing in second place, from a championship point of view, that was still a sensational night for Max Kühner, who is playing a long-term game, who is playing a 2024 season championship game. So disappointment in Monaco to miss out on the title, to miss out on the big paycheck, but there is another paycheck waiting for him at the end of the season if he is to be crowned champion of 2024. Let's show you what the rankings look like then and the impact of not just the Max Kühner second place, but the rest of the results in Monaco as to how it then affects the season. As we said, now looking quite pretty, 16 points clear of Andrea Skau, who has now registered all 8 points. Eduardo Alvarez Asna, a long-time leader of the season, who we believe, if I'm not mistaken, will only return by Rome. Michael van der Vleuten, here, present today and qualified, can jump up to second with a big performance. And Christian Kuckuck, once again, looking for a good performance here in Riesenbeck, can also make up some really, really big ground. Let's not forget that Gilles Thomas, there in 6th as well, is also here present and qualified. So some big championship points up for grabs. Frederick de Backer will give us a little more reaction and perhaps a little more in-depth as to what it means for some of those riders inside the top 10 if they were to perform well here in Riesenbeck today. How much is to gain? How high can they go up the table if they are to perform really, really well? What about the golden tickets? Let's talk about that. Let's talk about who is going to the GC playoffs in Riyadh later on this year. And Ines Joly now adds her name to that list as we take a quick reminder of the now 10 confirmed names from Abdel Said in Doha, the opening stage, all the way through to Ines Joly in Monaco. We have the 2 Philipparts brothers, Christian Kuckuck, already qualified. Gilles Thomas, what a victory that was for him in Shanghai. Wow, talk about big victories. Jean Sadran, let's not forget that as well. Jean Sadran was outstanding in Paris. And all of a sudden, Jana Frederica Meyer Zimmerman in the mix too. Max Kühner having already won in Saint-Tropez. This is what it looks like with only 5 stages left to go. One of those 5 to be confirmed today under the wet, rainy conditions here in Riesenbeck. We will add another name to that golden ticket title, who will be competing in the LGCT Super Grand Prix in the playoffs later. You heard a little bit from Ines Joly a few moments ago following that victory. We had the opportunity to meet with her here in Riesenbeck this week. Now that the emotion has settled down, the adrenaline has settled down, we thought we had to take a moment to sit down and speak to this incredible bright talent, the superb show jumper, and get some more reaction from her as to what that victory looked like and what the rest of the season means to her as well.
So I started in the family pony club in Saint-Etienne. I always trained with my dad, and my mom was around also helping me with the ponies. And yeah, it's where it all started. Oh, they mean everything. Like it's them that put me on my first pony. Yeah, I grew in this sport thanks to them. Yeah, they made their best, and they were so proud and happy that we did it. Like it was a family win, team win. We did it, 5-star. We made it to this level, and no, he was so proud. My mom also. Well, was unbelievable because at the middle of the class, I was like, okay, all the best riders are coming now, so we're gonna end up 6, 8. And when I saw we were just 2 and with Max, I was not believing. Like I had really luck on my side because it was the first time I would make a jump off this level, and I said, okay, I'm gonna try to go for the clear with a bit of tempo, but not too much, and paid off. Even before I started the round, they were saying my name, like, go, Ines, go. Like, damn, I cannot miss this one. It's the chance of my career. Like, I have to take it and try to go through. I have for 1 year and a half a groom named Bruno Mateus, Portuguese, super guy that is my right arm. Like he's top, is with me everywhere. So good to have someone so supportive and positive by my side. And then I train with Felipe Azevedo, with the Azevedo family. And they are with me on the Team Monaco Aces, so we try to make it good. Well, in Monaco, I was super happy because I had my friend Jean Sadron, Nina Malvé. Was actually incredible because we lived this moment together. They had a good result also, and they were there for me. It was unbelievable. And Edouard Lévy, the girlfriend, Flore Giraud, Grégory Cottard. Like my team is the team of Monaco Aces. We are really a good group of friends, so that's good. I graduated in 2021 in July. My last internship was in the surgery block. They liked my work as an intern, so they kept me. But to be able to ride, I had to do it during the night. So yeah, I was working by nights and then riding during the day. Nevermore, like it's too hard, so I'm gonna give it a try. Full speed with horses. Actually, I grow so much because it's tough studies. Like you are in front, like the patient, you never know what type of people you're gonna address yourself to, and the professionals are really tough also. Like really, I grew, I was young, and then puts me the 2 feet in the real world, really first year of studies directly. There was during the COVID also, so was tough, but unbelievable. I have super good memories. The new dream, oh, I would say, now I have the final in Riyadh, so try to keep up the good work for this big date. And then after, try to have some selection, maybe in the French team, and make some championship would be, yeah, the next goal.
From the nursing wards in hospitals to winning a 5-star, €500,000 LGCT Grand Prix in Monte Carlo, Monaco, that is the life-changing moment for Ines Joly. However, show jumping is a humbling sport, and 1 week you are a champion, the next week you are finding difficulty. That's what makes it so special. The update from today is that after a poor qualifier, Ines Joly, after winning in Monaco in the previous stage, has not qualified for today's LGCT Grand Prix. So there will be no double-header. There will be no back-to-back success for the young French women. And that is the sport. That is how show jumping works. And a lot of the experienced riders will probably do very well to share those kind of thoughts, to share those kind of lessons. She mentions a very strong team around her, and they will be giving her that kind of a feedback as to just how mentally tough you need to be in the world of show jumping. Speaking of mentally tough, a man like Michael van der Vleuten has been through and seen it all. He, present here today, has the opportunity to make some big gains. I took some time to meet up with Michael van der Vleuten to get some thoughts from the Dutchman ahead of his performance today in Riesenbeck.
Because the very last few stages, it's quite interesting to see who is just in front or behind me. But so far, I'm just focused on my own points. Yeah.
You're in a wonderful position from a rider's perspective of having great choices in a stable. You can go from Elwicki to Bailey, Boville, doesn't matter. How do you know which horse is favored to which ground?
Okay, to be honest, so Boville and O'Bailey are actually the two main horses for the biggest Grand Prix. So I actually try to make a good plan for these two horses. Yeah, mostly it works out well, but of course not always. But that's how it goes.
Second in Madrid, best result of the season. A lot of similarities between the Madrid ring and maybe a Riesenbeck ring. Anything that you can draw from that great performance in Madrid that might be applicable in a ring that's very similar?
I think we every time look at the event himself and see how the shape of the riders is and the shape of the horses, of course. And yeah, like this we try to put the right team on paper for here at Riesenbeck.
Any ambitions to repeat the very, very good title charge, shall I say, that you made in 2023? It was a wonderful year for you, you and Harry, all the way down to the final stage. Is there belief, is there hope that Michael van der Vleuten can again go very late in the championship push?
Yeah, maybe like Harry Smolders, for example. Last year, the last few events, he really moved up, all the way to the top in the ranking. I have some consistent placements in the GCTs, but not a lot of top 3 places. So there is something to add on that, and yeah, let's see. Try to see what the last few events will do.
Michael van der Vleuten not getting overly excited with the championship ambitions, remaining very humble, keeping both feet on the ground. But he does make the point that much like Harry Smolders in 2023, there were late championship points up for grabs. And maybe Michael van der Vleuten's late surge, a late push, can begin here today in Riesenbeck. For more information, for slightly more detail, as promised, let's bring Frederik de Backer into the show here today. Frederik, good afternoon to you. You are missing a very, very wet afternoon here in Riesenbeck in Germany. I miss you in your rain jackets that I recall in years gone by. But let's talk about the impact of today. Let's talk about what happens if and when Max Kuhne is watching nervously here at Riesenbeck. What happens to Michael van der Vleuten, to Christian Kuckuck, Gilles Thomas? There are people in this championship table that can make up some ground. Talk to us about what we need to be looking out for. What is the impact of potential success today on those challenges?
Well, Kuhne is safe. Whatever happens, if one of these close rivals win, they can never overtake Max Kuhne. So Max Kuhne is quite safe. Safe in the way that he cannot lose the lead. It's not safe in the way that plenty of those riders can actually climb much closer to him on the championship rankings. Second place, Andreas Schouw, and third place, Edu Aznar, long-time leader on the Tour. They are not safe. With Kuckuck and van der Vleuten, with good performances, and good performance, we are talking about podium finishes and wins, well, they can overtake Schouw and Aznar, go into second, go into third. That is all possible. But they also have to look at the number of Grand Prix that those riders have jumped. I'm talking about Kuckuck, van der Vleuten, and about Gilles Thomas. Kuckuck is going to post his 6th Grand Prix result only. That means that over the next, the next 4 Grand Prix, he can still add 2 results to it, but he has to start adding them. That is a little bit different for van der Vleuten. Van der Vleuten will post his 8th result, and we know that the 8 best results count on the championship. And Gilles Thomas, well, he is on 6 at the moment. So van der Vleuten and what did I say? Kuckuck and Gilles Thomas, I'm sorry, they still have got Grand Prix to add to their tally. Van der Vleuten, he is going to mark his 8th Grand Prix result and has the potential, if and with a win, that he will go to second place.
Wow, all right, so there's some big championship potential if and when the likes of Michael van der Vleuten does register some big points today. Great point from Frederik. Despite being safe, Kuhne can lose a lot of that comfort that he currently has at the top of the table. Frederik, let's talk about then who to watch out for. If we're talking about Christian Kuckuck, if we're talking about Gilles Thomas, if we're talking about Michael van der Vleuten, based on who they have here today, are they dangerous combinations to look out for? Who else are we looking out for in today's LGCT Grand Prix?
I've made a list, Mark, a list with 10 horses and 10 riders, and well, it starts already with a very big favourite. He's still inside that top 10. Simon de Lestre, he is one to watch with Dexter Fontenay. Philippe Schulze top off with Carla. On paper, on numbers, he's highly rated, but he lacks a little bit of the form lately. Guéry with Careca is very early to go. I've got Fernando Martinez Sommer on here. Just got the Mexican on the phone saying, Frederick, I'm not competing in this Grand Prix. I only jumped the small class. If I look at the ground, at the course, I've built the mare up very carefully. I don't want to try to take one step forward with risking to take 10 steps back. So out is Fernando Martinez Sommer. And then you have a mark. Gilles Thomas is amongst the favourites. He's on Luna van Dennerhof. Fantastic form. Plenty of clears lately. Clear income, double clear already in Shanghai and winning. So a horse to watch and a combination that sits high on that championship table. Same with Michael van der Vleuten on O'Bailey. Now this is not Beauville Z NOP. Beauville Z is the Grand Prix winner. That is something that O'Bailey still has to do. And then you've got Christian Koekkoek with Just Be Gentle as one of the highest rated horses. He was already he was on 4 penalties last year here in this Grand Prix. That was on Mumbai. Now comes back with Just Be Gentle. The mare lately with good results. It's wait and see. She can be a little bit skittish over the last few weeks. So it's just waiting and seeing if she will settle well now that the rain has started to fall and maybe that the ground could get a little bit more slippery. But the favourite, based on the numbers, based on the ratings, the highest rated horse of this Grand Prix, Olivier Robert, Iglesias DV. That's an outsider for some, but that horse has been doing really, really well, Iglesias. And don't forget that Robert has already won on cross with a different horse in Madrid, but he is already a 2-time Grand Prix winner on the tour, so he knows what it's all about, Mark.
Absolutely. Vivaldi and Van Gogh back in 2021. What a season that was for Olivier Robert. Can he then go on and pick up a victory today on Iglesias? Frederick de Backer, thank you for the insight. Thank you for who to look out for today. And again, you mentioned Christian Koekkoek. We talk about him growing up just 40-odd minutes down the road from here, living, working in Riesenbeck International for the GCL, for the LGCT, now a big competitor as well. We thought we had to take some time to quickly catch up with him. Dan Strange has a word with Christian Koekkoek.
Christian, you have a chance today to jump up to 3rd in the standings. What are your thoughts ahead of this one?
Well, honestly, I'm not overthinking the overall situation. I'm just looking forward for this Grand Prix, and surely I would like to win it. But first of all, I want to have a good first round, and then if it comes to the jump off, you always need the right day and a bit of luck for it. So that's nothing you can plan about. But a nice result anyway would be good for me for the overall. That's true.
From a rider's point of view, when you've won a golden ticket, does it relax you, especially coming here in front of your home fans?
Oh no, not really. Actually, you want to win every single Grand Prix you go in. So that has nothing to do with that. It's nice the fact that I have that ticket already. But it wouldn't change my motivation for today.
Top 3 aren't here in the standings at the moment, so there is a good opportunity for the riders just below to pick up valuable points. How do you think Just Be Gentle will go today?
Well, hopefully good. I mean, she's in a great shape. She jumped really nice 2 weeks ago in Aachen, was placed in the Prix of Europe and placed in the Grand Prix. She jumped very good yesterday, had really an unlucky fault, but I'm really looking forward for today.
And in terms of in front of your home fans, is there a sense of a need for redemption with some difficult rounds or difficult results in the last year here?
Well, I mean, the fact that I have my family and my friends here is just an extra motivation for me. And it's nice to have them here. It's nice to feel the people around you, to feel the support from them. And hopefully I can give something back today.
Christian, as ever, thanks for your time and good luck for this one today.
Thank you.
They'll be cheering for Christian Koekkoek in the rafters, I assure you that. Somewhat early to go because of that fence that fell yesterday in his qualifier. He will be 15th to go, the 10-year-old Just Be Gentle and Christian Koekkoek in the first half of today's round 1 of the LGCT Grand Prix of Riesenbeck. Let's talk about what they are going to have to jump. That becomes the big question. Let's go back to Frederick de Backer. Frederick, let's talk about the course. Let's talk about what has been designed, and conditions aside, what is facing the riders on paper?
Well, Mark, I have to make a throwback to yesterday, to Global Champions League Round 1 and Global Champions League Round 2. Remember all the time penalties that were collected on this very big ring where it's easy to canter and the horses have that big stride, but where if you start a turn 10 centimeters wide and it's a long turn and you stay on that trajectory, the place, the space that you miss, that you go too wide is very, very crucial. And that happens here a few times. I just want to point out those moments. It is the rollback from 3 to 4. It is the rollback from 7 to 8. And then here the rollback from 10 to 11. You could discuss also the last line, but it's mainly those 3 rollbacks already in this first round that are going to have their effect and that are going to play a role with the time allowed. Not that you have to raise this as a speed class, but you just have to be with your mind on the clock. Your internal metronome has to keep ticking, has to keep going. What do we have to discuss furthermore? There is this huge wall here at number 3, and I have to say, I just saw some live images of it. It's bizarre the way it is constructed. The color is very pale. It's a beige kind of color. It looks a bit like sandstone, limestone. They have wings that are a little bit higher. There's a dip behind it as well. It looks very odd. It looks very massive, very intimidating. I think intimidating is the right word, that wall at 3. It comes at an approach of about 9 to 10 strides here to fence 3. Then you've got that rollback. And now I've got a very interesting line for you, Mark. It is the line from 4, 5, 6, 7. Like Ludger Beerbaum said, this is 1.5 hectares big, the size of this entire ring. That gives Christian Wiegand, the course designer, plenty of possibilities to build here, of course. It starts with the oxer, and then it's 6 strides to the vertical. Now you want to try to get to this vertical as close as possible, but as balanced as possible. Why do I mention balance? Well, because this is the highest point, and this moves downhill. So you're going actually in this line, you're going downhill. That's why I'm saying that you want to get here balanced on 6 strides to get a deep stride. Why do you want the deep stride? If you have the deep stride, you also have the deep landing, the short landing. These 4 are actually slightly short. So you want to create a little bit of room for yourself with confidence and balance to 5 for the short 4. And then purely on paper, this would be 6 strides. But what I hear, the echoes from the ground, from Dan and from the riders, is that this would be rather a 7-stride approach from fence 6 to fence 7, probably slightly more on the outside bend, that the inside 6 would be too flat, and that it would be an approach of 6, 4 and 7. 4 connected nearly on a straight line. There's a small bend in there that you have to keep in mind. What else is worth talking about? Oh, triple combination. This is odd. I don't think we've ever discussed this before, Mark. You've got the vertical. We've discussed verticals before. Then you've got 8 strides to get into the combination. Some might do 7, but that seems a little bit flat. Big oxer, 2 strides, the vertical. But you have to look at that final oxer. It's so bizarre. The final oxer is maximum height, 1.16 meters. We don't see maximum height oxers, but it is only 1.30 meters wide. It's a small, skinny oxer. And what happens with small, skinny oxers? Horses give all the effort. They look for the back rail, sitting at 1.50 meters, 1.60 or wider. It's never going to be there. So the oxer is very narrow. Before you turn into that fence, keep an eye on that back rail. I wonder if it's going to happen. Christian Wiegand thinks that it could have an impact, that narrow oxer coming out of the combination. And then finishing up to fence 14. So it's quite a long track. Yesterday was a warm day. Today it is much fresher, and not many horses in this Grand Prix have jumped 2 rounds yesterday, so they will be fresh to take on the 14 fences of Christian Wiegand.
All right, Fredrik de Backer, thank you very much. And it's quite interesting that you mentioned that fence. I'm trying to, as you speak to me, Fredrik, just follow along with your words, follow along with your comments to see exactly what you're talking about. And I must say that that 3rd fence does look very, very tricky from here. You're right, there's like a stone color. The wings are quite strange too, and that is going to be quite tricky for the riders. Fredrik de Backer, thank you very much for some analysis on what has been designed today in the LGCT Grand Prix of Riesenbeck to come in a few moments' time. If there is one man, if there's one legendary man that will be able to deal with anything that has been designed, a man who has jumped it all over the world, what are the thoughts then of Markus Eining here today, being back in Germany, jumping once again in Riesenbeck? Let's go to Dan Strange. He has some thoughts from the veteran.
Yeah, we're here with a legend of, well, the LGCT really, and German show jumping as well, Markus Eining. Markus, you've walked the course. What is your view of the course today?
Yeah, it's a real Grand Prix. We have amazing facilities here. The ground is really, really good. And a lot of jump today, 14 numbers, 17 jumps. So it's a hard Grand Prix.
Looking at the weather, how it's changed, obviously very hot yesterday, wetter today. Has that affected anything in your thoughts?
Yeah, I think if it stopped raining now, I think it's really brilliant riding weather. We hope the rain is not coming again. And I think then we will see a very good Grand Prix.
We're by fence number 3. We're actually at the back of fence number 3, which is this wall. Back in Doha, you went double clear on Coulier 42, who you rode today. If you think back, there was a wall there and it caused a lot of problems for everyone by yourself. How do you see this one riding?
I think this is a quite fair start. It's number 3, but you have a long way to it. The horses see it early enough. It's big. I think we also see a few faults there. But yeah, like I said, it's a very fair course.
For you personally with Coulier 42, how's his form? You had a slightly frustrating day yesterday. Put that out of your mind today?
Yeah, I try. He jumped really brilliant yesterday, but also yesterday was already big enough. I hope we have still power enough, and then we'll see what's coming.
Marcus, I'll let you go and prepare. Thank you for your time. Mark, back over to you.
Thank you very much, Dan Strange. Why do I want the hat that Marcus Eining is wearing so badly? How can he make that hat look as cool as he does? Oh, Marcus Eining can do no wrong. The German veteran will be looking to try and pick up big success later on today. We do want to encourage you to get involved with us in social media. Go and find us, send some questions to the winner that we can ask today's winner later on in the post studio at Longines Global Champions Tour. Go find us on the stories, go and send your questions. We will incorporate them into the show. And when we have tonight's winner, we bring them into the studio here. We can hopefully try and bring your questions into the show and try and get your question answered by tonight's champion at Longines Global Champions Tour. To make it even easier, just scan that QR code and it will take you straight through to the social media channel. There is a lot of action to look forward to coming up in a few moments' time. Stay with us here on GCTV. Make sure you have your GCTV Live Pass and let's watch every moment of today's Longines Global Champions Tour Grand Prix of Riesenbeck live on GCTV.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Longines Global Champions Tour. It is the 11th stage of the season. We find ourselves in northwest Germany. It is Riesenbeck, Hörstel to be precise. Riesenbeck is a small part of the city of Hörstel. Riesenbeck is of course the home of Ludger Beerbaum, of Christian Kuckuck, Philipp Weishaupt, Paul McMahon and the others. And for the second time in their history, it is also home to the Longines Global Champions Tour and its famous Grand Prix. An 11th ticket for the Longines Global Champions Tour Super Grand Prix is going to be handed out at the end of the afternoon. And contrary to yesterday, it is much cooler, much fresher, and, well, to be fair, also much wetter. It's been raining throughout the day. Lots of more rain is expected, though you can't see that by the attire of the spectators, but they just could very well get surprised by the rain that is about to come here. Was some heavy rain already in the morning, not at the moment. Well, there you have it. It's cloudy, we'll call that rainy. And the humidity is high. Riesenbeck was a spectacular stage last year with Harry Smulders winning this stage with Max Kühner in second and Daniel Doise in third. It was a who's who show jumping on that podium, and it also created the base for Harry Smulders' championship win. In the end, fending off Michael van der Vleuten, who led the most part of the season, and van der Vleuten, who is currently still in a good position, not the best, but a good position to once again challenge for the championship title here on the Longines Global Champions Tour. That lead is actually in the hand of Max Kühner. Kühner, who is safe, he's not here. Kühner is safe. Even if Van der Vleuten, Koekoek or Thomas would win, Kühner cannot be overtaken. Schouw and Asnar, there in second and third, are also not present. They can get overtaken by Van der Vleuten and Koekoek in case of victories. Further down, who's here? There you've got Philippaerts, you've got Meer, you've got De Lestre, you've got Guéry and Thibaut Spitz as part of that group of 16 that you saw over those first 2 pages of the standings. Let's have a look at the course. Designed by Christian Wiegand. On the largest facility that we have, 1.5 hectares is the space that we have at our disposal, the grass ring for Christian Wiegand to build. The vertical of prestige, and then away from the ingate, the horizontal stripes on the Riesenbeck International Auction. Then it is 9 or 10 to a full face wall. It's really a dense wall, it's a scary looking wall, it's intimidating. And when you jump that, if you need a little bit of pressure, don't fly out of the turn. Try to keep this nice and tidy, as the time allowed is 81 seconds. You don't want to lose time in that turn. Normal 6, this is slightly downhill. Then the 4 will get short to fence 6, and you have to make an outside bend and find room for 7, because the 6 are too flat to jump Oxen number 7. Here's another spot where you can lose valuable time. It is the approach, the rollback, where you approach the triple combination. A tall vertical to start with, and then what is it? Is it going to be 7? Are they going to be too flat, and do they have to reorganize and make it on 8, outside 8, then to find the punch to jump the back rail of that Oxer? Then you've got 2 strides for this 1.60 m tall vertical. And then, and this is remarkable, look at the dimensions. 1 stride inside. How wide is this Oxer, do you think? 158 high and just 120 wide. So it's a very skinny Oxer before heading over to that vertical on 8 strides. Drift, make sure that you've got your horse focused, and then you can have your next turn, another long loop into fence 11. This is fence 11 of Longines Global Champions Tour. You go downhill again. There's a slightly open distance to fence 12 with the triple bar. And on paper, this is a half stride. It is on paper or 5 or 6. The 5 into the double of upright seem fairly flat. Or can he reorganize himself, and can you get the 6 strides in time? It'll all depend with which swing you come over that triple bar and how your horse finds the balance to come into these double of uprights. Then it's 8 strides to the final fence, and that is on a slightly awkward 90-degree angle to fence 14. So it's a long course. 81 seconds is allowed. Christian Wiegand has built it, and there's a few cliffs to navigate, especially with the slope. The bottom right is the highest point. The top left is actually the lowest point of the arena here of the Longines Global Champions Tour Grand Prix of Riesenbeck. And this is the man who has built the course, and this is what it looks like. The star lists, with Nicolas Paul as first to go. They have an unlucky qualifier yesterday, also for De Lestre, who is well positioned on the championship rankings. Who do we have there as well? Ben Meer, Enjeu de Grisien, the 3-time champion. Home rider Kendra Clarissa Brinkop, and there's Gilles Thomas, who is number 6 on the standing. Said was in the jump off here last year. Koekoek now with Just Be Gentle. Last year it was 4 penalties with him for Mumbai and him. And then the brothers Philippaerts and Philippaerts aiming on Coolio. There is the highly anticipated Richard Vogel with Sepanu Balubert, and the top-rated Olivier Robert with Iglesias. Spitz on that talented 9-year-old Impress K van het Kattenheijen Z. And then Kobe with Weishaupt, just like his teammate, just like Koekoek, 4 last year. Now with Kobe back for better and for more. Grand Prix winners in Calais, in Calamandia and in Mandato van de Neerheide. And at the end, crowned with Bisquetta. Dean looking for her first Grand Prix clear on the tour with Akota. Then Sinclair, Jourdain with Freeling, Limbridge for the home rider for Jana Vargas, who was born 15 minutes away from this venue in Amstetten. And last to go is David Will, a teammate of this Richard Vogel, who years ago was trained by Ludger Beerbaum, rode here as a stable rider for the Ludger Beerbaum stables as we hover over Schloss Surenburg, the castle, the chateau. I don't think chateau is very German. The Schloss
is the correct word. If a castle is surrounded by water, the Germans call it a Schloss. Schloss or Hof Surenburg, the castle that connects to Riesenbeck International. By the in-gate, Jan Distel on the ground, and it is Nicolas Paul in the saddle. We are off and running with the launching Global Champions Tour Grand Prix of Riesenbeck. Nicolas Paul goes first on Cats de Sulpice. Started with a very good run at meter 60, but yesterday had a difficult qualifier and comes into this Grand Prix on a score of 12. That's the qualifying score, of course. Everybody starts on clear. But also her Monte Carlo Grand Prix did not go as planned. And so now trying to reconnect with the good form that she showed in previous class. And I'm thinking mainly of Wiesbaden and of Stockholm. Nicolas Paul and Cats de Sulpice. Cats, 12 years old, French bred by Trésor de Virton. And let's see how this course actually rides. Prestige to start. 7. The wall doesn't really scare Cats de Sulpice. It's very massive, and now roll back into the first real technical line. 6 to the upright. This will get short. And he runs past the distance. There is, yeah, you could see it coming already. He landed deep into the line. And then the short four were never an option. Look at that plank on top, black plank. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 into the triple. Skinny Oxer to come out. Eight tries to GCB. Don't waste any time here. The time allowed is 81 seconds. From now, that's half a minute left. Oh, and it doesn't fit. She wanted to wait, and it didn't fit to launching Global Champions Tour. She also wanted to wait to that vertical earlier on that course where she had the fault in the line where it didn't really react to her demand. And so Nicolas Paul after the rail, now pulling out of the line. And plenty of time penalties added, and so yes, not, or no I should say, not possible for Paul to connect to that great form that she showed just a month ago. Finishes on 9 strides to the last, Nicolas Paul, and it cuts the Sulpice, not really around that we can use as reference. The first part went well, showed us some difficulties, especially the short fall to the blue.
Difficult start for Nicolas Paul here today, the first competitor to come out in the Longines Global Champions Tour Grand Prix of Riesenbeck. Simon de Lestre, one of the big names to look out for today, is next in the ring. If you want to see what Simon, the Frenchman, has to do, if you want to see who else is going to perform really well today and who wins today's LGCT Grand Prix, sign up for a GCTV live pass right now. Come through to Riesenbeck and join us for every moment of today's Grand Prix. We'll see you right here on GCTV.